The name of the book, Camels, Tigers and Unicorns, deserves a little bit of explanation. When we began our program of working on rethinking science and technology-enabled innovation and ended up with our new frameworks and concepts and tools, we felt that it would be helpful to bring this to life by describing the trajectories of some typical types of firms. Given the complexity and the differences between different types of firms, we decided to use a shorthand based on animal metaphors, which have of course been used previously by other people. In our context, we chose these three metaphors in order to bring to life some very important differences in terms of the trajectory of science and technology-enabled firms. So we use the word camels to describe firms which incidentally constitute over 98% of all firms. But we use the word camels to describe firms which are taking a steady and structured approach to their growth. These are not overnight wonders. They may take years in order to develop and commercialize their technologies. But the analogy with the camels bears some examination in terms of how camels operate in the desert. They're adapted. They go from oasis to oasis, refueling. And so the metaphor in that sense is intended to convey the idea of a structured journey with intermediate stopping points and starting points in order to determine progress. We use the word tigers to describe firms which are much more agile and maybe traveling much faster and may need to respond to changes in their external environment in very rapid and dramatic ways. And so the tigers, which typically constitute the other 2% of firms, really is a term that we use to describe agile, high growth, very fast moving firms, which will require lots of additional external resources. And the word unicorns, of course, needs a bit of explanation because unicorns are mythical creatures. And although the word unicorn has been used by many investors in order to describe supposedly huge firms with billion-dollar valuations, as far as we're concerned, unicorns represent, if you like, the logic of magical realism, where unicorns really try to grow without adhering to the conventional logic of needing a sustainable business model. The argument behind unicorns is that you don't need a sustainable business model because you just plow in resources and grow, and somehow the customers will turn up. And of course, that's why the failure rate of unicorns is so high. So in our book, unicorns are a very tiny fraction of firms, most of which will fail, having attracted huge amounts of investment. Although you may have the odd success, which is then held as a wonderful example that should be followed by all.